Hi everyone. So I just came on here because I wanted to share something that has recently happened to me, just today actually, where I am in the process of reviewing another lease agreement to launch my second store for my business, Valentinesintimates, in Montego Bay, Jamaica, this December 2023. And one of the reasons why I'm sharing this is because I know a lot of women, especially in corporate, wants to start their store, wants to sell that product, but for whatever reason have been overthinking it. And I'm going to be sharing with you 3 tips. So I have been doing this since September 2019, so a little bit over 4 years. I've launched 2 stores already. So when I just started in September 2019, I was working in corporate in my 9-to-5 job while doing my store remotely, managing my store remotely. And we started at a 300 square foot location on Harbor Street, downtown Kingston, Jamaica. And then last year, 2022, in September, we moved and launched another store. We moved to a 1,600 square foot at the same Harbor Street, Kingston, Jamaica. Now, the first tip is you have to be prepared and be okay with not accepting the words of your naysayers. So now it's Christmas holidays coming up. It is a perfect time to launch your store, to launch your brick and mortar store so that persons can actually go and see your products and buy your products. And the reality is your naysayers are going to be persons close to you. Could be your spouse, it could be a family member, could be your close girlfriend, it could be your best friend. It could be, and this is the one that keeps a lot of us stuck, it could be you. And I'm going to tell you, for me, when I started, my spouse and my current business partner, my mother, were the naysayers. And some of the things that they would have said is 1, it's going to be too costly to set up. 2, based on the location on Harbor Street downtown, it's too far. No one is going to come to the store. How are they going to get there? There's no ideal parking immediately there. And the reality is, since launching my store in 2019, as at 2023 of May this year, I was able to leave my 9-to-5 and be fully dedicated to my store because it was at that level that I could be fully dedicated to it. And the reality is, 1, I have over 15,000 followers on Instagram, and I am selling millions and making millions. So if I had listened to those naysayers who told me it's going to be too costly to set up, or who said the location is too far, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I was able to leave my 9-to-5, get the flexibility that I wanted to be able to spend time with my children, to not have any anxiety or not dreading the feeling of going to work. So I don't know about you, but yeah, there were those moments where I just dreaded going to work, okay? And that level of anxiety was there when certain time period came around, whether it's that month end or it's at the strategic planning time period. There's a high level of stress, a high degree of stress. So the first thing is you have to be prepared and be willing to reject and not accept the words of your naysayers. And the second thing about the naysayers, 1, I said they're close to you, and 2, the reality is your naysayers have never done what you want to do or what you're about to do. So my husband never launched a store. My mother, she was selling on the sidewalk. She did not launch her store, right? So if you want to launch your store, you need to get the right associations. And this is my next point. So the second tip for you, which is what I did, I surrounded myself with business persons that actually have stores, right? So one of those persons for me is now a very good person. Whenever I'm traveling for business, she's traveling, she calls me up and we head out to get products for the store or anything else, right? And the business associates, these are the ones that will push you, move you from overthinking it, and move you from being unstuck, moving from being stuck to unstuck, because they've done it, right? And some of the words that I got from my business associates was, one, the location is good. It's right across from where there is a UDC parking, which is a public secured parking that my customers can use. And two, the rent was good. Okay, it wasn't a lot when I just started as a small space, 300 square foot. Now I have a 1600 square foot. My rent is twice, 3 times what it used to be, but based on my sales, far exceeds that, right? And don't surround yourselves with persons that do not know how to do what you want to do. And whether that's being, you might say, okay, I don't know how to go about it. Find yourselves persons that have done what you want to do. There are persons on Instagram, social media, that when you look at their page and you see the results, you know these are persons that have done what you want to do. Surround yourself with business associates or associates that have done what you want to do. They will be the one to help reference you and point you in the right direction to achieving your goals. Now, I don't know about you, but I remember for me, my goal was to have the flexibility, leave my 9 to 5. I wrote down my goal, and to not be stressed and to be able to spend time with my family and my children. And that's exactly what I did. I set a timeline and I left my 9 to 5 based on the terms that I wanted, okay? After completing 5 years to make sure I confirmed and guaranteed my pension, okay? So, tip number 1, be prepared and be okay to not accept the words of your naysayers, because they don't know how to do what you want to do, which is to launch your store. And tip number 2, surround yourself with business associates that have done what you want to do. Get associates that have done what you want to do so that they can prepare you and they can point you in the right direction. And my final tip, which is the most important of all of these 3 tips, that has really anchored me to have launched 2 stores, and now I'm going to be launching my 3rd store in Montego Bay, Jamaica, so that's the 2nd city in Jamaica, is that be led by the instructions of God's words. So God's words, and it so happened this was my devotion this morning, Isaiah chapter 11 verse 3. It says, do not, and I'm going to find it, it says, do not judge by what you hear, and do not make decisions by what you see. So again, that is Isaiah chapter 11 verse 3. It says, and I'm going to read it from the Amplified version so that you can and go and find it yourself, okay? So it's Isaiah chapter 11 Amplified version verse 3, and it says, and he will delight in the fear of the Lord, and he will not judge by what his eyes see, nor make decisions by what his ears hear. So your instructions should only come from God's word. Judge by righteousness. I remember when I went to Montego Bay, so there was a pop-up. We did a bridal pop-up in Montego Bay in September of this year, September 10, 2023. And from that pop-up, seeing the performance there and connecting with someone there that's a realtor, I was able to now be in a position here today to be reviewing a lease agreement to launch my next store in Montego Bay, Jamaica in December of this year. So I hope that you take those 3 tips as a reminder. Be prepared not to listen to the naysayers. Okay? They don't know what you want to do. They've never done it before. 2, surround yourself with business associates who have done what you want to do,